The cat family walks together with bright smiles on the yacht deck, joy shining in every glance. Grace twirls gracefully like a ballerina as Ethan supports her tenderly. Alice beams with joy, clapping her tiny paws under the bright sunlight on the yacht deck. Ethan spins around in shock, his wide blue eyes filled with surprise. Peggy lounges by the pool with a seductive smile, her gaze daring as if to shatter the peaceful atmosphere. Ethan roars with excitement, his booming cry echoing louder than the crashing waves. Peggy leans by the pool, sipping wine while whistling, her eyes gleaming with provocation. Bursts out laughing in wild excitement, but behind him, Grace realizes with a shocked gaze. Ethan and Grace clash in fury, their rage erupting on the yacht deck. Ethan growls, "You always doubt me, but you don't know the truth behind it." Grace screams, "The truth? Do you dare to look me in the eye and admit it?" Watching her parents clash in fury, Alice trembles in shock. In a fit of rage, Ethan suddenly seizes Grace, turning the argument into a dramatic struggle. Grits his teeth, his blazing eyes burning with fury, ready to explode at any moment. In a fit of rage, Ethan violently shoves Grace off the yacht deck, leaving her flailing above the raging sea. Alice screams, "Mom!" bursts into tears, her voice breaking as she reaches out desperately. Grace clings desperately to the railing, but her grip weakens, slipping into the raging sea below. Grace struggles weakly in the raging waves, trembling arms reaching out in vain as her strength fades away. Peggy bursts into hearty laughter, her smug joy intensifying the tense atmosphere. Ethan holds Peggy tenderly, his sweet gaze hiding the sting of betrayal. Alice claws and bites into Ethan's leg with fury, her eyes blazing with hatred, clutching Alice tightly as the little kitten screams in despair amidst the chaos. Grace closes her eyes as her body sinks deeper into the cold, endless sea. In the pouring rain, Alice collapses before her mother's grave, her heart-wrenching cries echoing through the cold cemetery. Ethan and Peggy beam joy at the lavish party, their satisfied smiles. Alice clutches the purple bouquet, each heavy step carrying her closer to the altar. Alice walks slowly with her head down, each step heavy with overwhelming sorrow. Peggy violently snatches the bouquet and shoves Alice to the ground. Ethan smirks with a sinister grin. Ethan and Peggy revel in their wedding, basking in the loud applause around them. Alice walks sadly through the lavish wedding hall, her sorrowful eyes deepening the weight of the scene. Peggy scolds harshly, while Alice trembles in tears, her tiny heart shattering in humiliation. Her sorrow blending with the soap bubbles, revealing silent suffering. In the dim room, Alice clutches her pillow, sobbing helplessly as loneliness consumes her fragile heart. Peggy clutches her belly, collapsing in labor pains, her screams tearing through the grand hall. Ethan screamed frantically into the phone, his face tense as he called an ambulance. Sirens blare as the ambulance speeds through traffic. Peggy gasps for breath, eyes wide with fear as the stretcher races down the hall. With a radiant smile, Ethan cradles the fragile newborn in his arms. Alice places her trembling paw on the glass, eyes filled with sorrow as she watches the baby in Ethan's arms. The ache of longing shatters her tiny heart. Alice plays cheerfully, accidentally causing the orange kitten to fall back. The orange kitten cries out in anguish, tears streaming down. Peggy yells in fury, pointing her finger as Alice bursts into tears, trembling in sorrow. Alice sobs while scrubbing the floor, her tears mixing with the cold puddles on the tiles. Touches the mirror, her tearful red eyes staring at her weary reflection in despair. In her most fragile moment, the kitten pleads for everyone to like and subscribe so she can find the strength to overcome this sorrow. After all the pain, the kitten ready to rewrite her own destiny. The kitten focuses on studying and writing, preparing herself for a brand new journey. Beyond studying, the kitten trains hard, running with fierce determination to overcome her destiny. The kitten steps into boxing training. Every punch is powerful, every gaze determined. Years later, Alice is no longer the weak little kitten. She has grown strong and proud, becoming a respected police officer. Walking sternly in front of the station, her determined eyes. She quietly lays down flowers, eyes filled with tears yet full of strength. In Alice's hands lie old photos, undeniable evidence. Years ago, Ethan cruelly attacked Grace on the yacht's deck. The truth is now revealed. Alice smirks coldly, whispering, "It's time." The moment that marks the beginning of revenge. A fleet of police cars races through the city, igniting a heart-pounding pursuit. The police storm into the mansion, the grand doors crashing open with force. Ethan and Peggy panic, trembling in fear as the police storm in. They try to flee. Ethan roars in desperation, but the police swiftly pin him down on the marble floor. Peggy screams and cries wildly, but the police handcuff her tight. In the dim light, Alice walks slowly forward. Every step she takes makes the villains tremble. Pinned to the floor, Ethan glares with hatred as he stares at the photos, exposing his crimes. In the end, Ethan roars in rage while Peggy breaks down in despair behind bars. After all the storms, Alice now stands strong and at peace, side by side with the little kitten. Under the sunset glow, Alice whispers, "Mom, justice has been served." Tears fall, but in her heart, she knows her mother can finally rest in peace.